Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. Let's just say I was indisposed. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin. I do have a lot to cover today, so we're going to get right into it. I have a lot of video footage and things. But we might as well just start off with the bummer news. Here it is. My friends, can you say frustrated? Frustrated would be a soft word for how I really feel. This thing turned out great. I am really tickled the way this turned out in terms of holding the stock for the future checkering, which the checkering tools I was made aware are supposed to be here today. I thought they just came, but I got a package from UPS just a second ago, and it was something entirely different. I have no idea what it is, and I don't know who sent it or where it came from. It had my name on it, but I don't know what it is. It's like a pair of shocks or something. Well, here's why I'm really frustrated. This gun stock, it broke again. Now, I got to tell you what happened. I had it sitting over here. I had it sitting on the front of this table right in here, I think. And I turned around, and I did bump it, I'll admit, but it seemed like it jumped 2 feet. It landed over here, and it busted. Just clumsy me, I guess. Frustrating. I can't even tell you how frustrating. I've got it glued back, and again, you won't be able to see it, and it won't break there again either. That's not the same place it broke the first time. Trust me, it's not. Absolutely 100% not. I made these 2 little side panels. This is what's going to stop that from ever breaking there again. The problem is I'm frustrated with this too because, well, you can see that this goes on here. You know, it'll be fine. It'll look good when I'm done and everything. But I have no inspiration whatsoever because I'm so frustrated of what to put on this. I don't have any design in my head that's going to work. The rose, I could put a rose on there, but it would be laying sideways, and that doesn't seem to do it for me. A deer head would be so tiny. I'm thinking of just doing a checkering pattern with leaving a diamond in the middle or something and just calling that good, like a border around it and a diamond check, something with it on each side. I don't know. I'm just frustrated. Yeah, and some of you are going, I would not even bother with that stock. I'd throw it away. I'd go do something else. Well, there's nothing wrong with it. It just is the characteristics of wood. Wood breaks, and especially under a heavy shock like that. Now, there's a good example where had I glued that with epoxy, it would have broke on the epoxy crack line. There ain't no doubt about it. But because I glued it with Titebond, it broke in a different place. And, I've got it glued back together. It's going to be fine. And especially once I put these side panels on there. Once I get these side panels on there, which right now look hideous, but I'm going to, I pretty much made up my mind what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave about a 3/16 inch border or something all the way around here. And in between the border, I'm going to have that cross checking. The checkering. I'm going to do the checkering, and I'm going to leave a diamond in the middle. And on the diamond, I'm going to put Rosa on one side, and on the other side, I'm going to put 2025. And it's going to look like a feature when it's done, but it will definitely, because the grains don't line up, it'll definitely make this solid where you could throw it across a room and it ain't going to break after I do this. After I glue this on there, it's virtually unbreakable. I say virtually because you can break anything. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, so that's I'm putting that to bed in terms of at least I know what I'm going to do now. And these are also walnut panels. I cut them out on my laser cutter. And in fact, I'm going to do the name and the date. I'm going to do that with the laser cutter also, I believe. But that'll be down the road here a little bit. The checkering tools are supposed to be here today. And so in a way, this is kind of cool because I can practice the checkering on this. And if it doesn't work, throw it away and do it again, because I've got plenty of walnut. And anyway, so that'll be good practice for the checkering, for learning how to checker. So anyway, there you go. So I'm killing two birds with one stone, making lemonade out of lemons. And that's really what it amounts to. And then, because I was so frustrated, I just decided to take a little detour and do this. Well, friends, since I was so frustrated over the gun stock, I decided to come back out here and just get more frustrated, because more than likely, this thing's probably tore up. It probably ain't no good now, but do you see it up there? That is another hornet's nest. I can't even tell for sure which limb it's hanging on. I brought this pole saw. Thought I would reach up there and try to cut it off and catch it. But anyway, that's not going to be easy to do. We'll see.
A drifter is only a poet with wings. He moves, but he can't learn to fly. Running in footsteps ahead of his time, with no one to hear if he cries. With memories of your sweet love on the vine, I thumb my way south in the rain, thinking of bridges I've burned in my life. Each bridge causes somebody pain. But yesterday's apples are gone from the tree, sour grapes are gone from the vine. Tomorrow a new life is starting for you, while nothing is changing in mine. A drifter is only a poet with wings. He moves but he can't learn to fly, running in footsteps ahead of his time, with no one to hear if he cries. South wind that blew in your life to warm you, but just for a while. I know what it means, sweetheart, when you lose, but someday you'll look back and smile. I can't be your lover, you don't need a friend. I guess that's the way it must be, but nothing remains as it was yesterday. You'd only be hurt loving me. A drifter is only a poet with wings. He moves but he can't learn to fly, running in footsteps ahead of his time, with no one.
Well, there she is. It's got a very large entrance hole there, but I'm sure there's nothing in there anymore. Well, I don't know how many of those things I have now. I don't know what I'm doing with them. I just collecting them for no other reason than because I can. So there's where the hornet's nest is going to reside for a while anyway. Just another hornet's nest. There's one over there. You can't see it very good. There's one up in that crack. There's one over there on the wall. There's one over there on that thing. There's probably one or two more in here that I can't remember where I put them. But anyway, I don't know. Like I said, don't know why. I just have them. Yeah, it's not easy being me. By the way, I did make a new trigger guard. It looks kind of big and awkward, but it'll accommodate a glove really good. And it stands out like a sore thumb now because it's aluminum colored. But I'm going to get some flat black paint it, and then I'm going to wax it with car wax. And that gives it a finish like you wouldn't believe. It gives it a kind of a satin gloss, between a satin and a gloss finish, and makes it just rock hard. You can't rub it off. I've done it before, and it works great. So that's the kind of finish I'm going to put on that, and it'll match the rest of the gun because the rest of the gun's black. Okay, and moving right on. I don't have anything else to do, so I thought I'd do this. Well, my friends, I have a possible future project here for the farm. This trail here, I know it doesn't look that steep on camera. It looks like 1/3 as steep as it actually is on camera. It's really steep. When you come down this hill with a tractor, pulling a trailer, if you've got any kind of load on it at all, it's going to jackknife you, fishtail you. The trailer's going to pass the tractor up, and it's going to turn you over. I only through the fact that I've operated tractors my whole life since I was like 10 years old was I able to control it. A couple of times I just dang near lost it. So I've quit using this trail. At least, coming down the trail with the tractor and trailer. Going up it, it's not so bad, but when you're coming down it, that pushing force, it's near disaster. It really is. So what I'm thinking of doing is starting like right through here, is bringing a trail through here at a low, steep, it's still steep, don't get me wrong, but it ain't nothing like going up this straight up this thing. And going through here and making, I'd have to cut the trail out, flat here and it's a big deal. And I just don't know if it's feasible. So that's why I'm walking this right now, just to decide, is this feasible? There's not any real big trees through here. This is nice. I mean, these little trees are nothing. They can come down in a heartbeat. In fact, a couple of them are already dead. So this is not bad right through here. Might be doable. This is a nice flat area. See, it's a long, slow grade, which is not a problem at all for the tractor and the trailer. It's still steep, and I'm still walking up quite a hill, but it is nothing like the other hill. Yeah, this might work. Starts to get a little more woody up in here, but it's not terrible. Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to work, I think. This would also be better for the horses. It'd be a nice, long, slow grade. I think this might work. I could start up here and cut this way, bring the bobcat up here, and work downhill. As I can get to here, this is where I cut up that great big tree last year that was just above the house, and I moved it up here. In fact, I still need to split this up. I forgot I had this. That's good. More firewood. Yeah, I'm thinking I like this idea. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, to make this trail. But I think in the long run, this is a very good thing that should have been done years and years and years ago. That'd make getting up here so much better. Sue won't like the fact that it's going to tear up her part of her yard down here that she maintains. But on the other hand, it's going to be less yard to maintain. So I don't know. Yeah, we could come through right in here somewhere. I can't get through this very easily. I think this has got potential. Well, we'll have to see what the boss lady thinks, but I really think this has got potential. It would make it safe for coming down with firewood, and this is the short way. So yeah, this would not be a problem going at an angle like this. But see if you can see the difference. We're going at a long, slow pace. This is dropping off very steeply. And again, it don't show up in the video, trust me. You just have to believe me when I tell you, it's really steep by comparison to the trek I'm walking now. I would say twice as steep as what I'm walking. Yeah, so I'm talking going an angle through here as opposed to going up that. And it probably doesn't look much different on camera, but trust me when I tell you, there's a big difference. And that big tree's dead, so it's coming down anyway. So cutting through here, we'll be cutting its roots, and that's not a problem. So, because it's already dead. This biggest tree's got to come down yet this year. Well, that's something that to give it some thought. I haven't actually showed that to Sue yet or told her about my idea yet. Well, I think I mentioned it the other day that I might think about doing something like that. But I really think that's a good thing for a lot of things. I mean, it's good for the horses because they're always riding trails and they always go straight up that big hill. And it's tough on the horses, you know, where if you go on that long angle, and it would be way safer on the tractors and stuff. The tractors would have no trouble on that kind of grade. You know, a smooth grade, you know, more or less level type grade, if you will. I mean, one that just continues on without bumps and humps and stuff like that. If you can just keep it nice, flat, level grade, that's not a problem for the tractor. When you start coming down those steep hills, the rocks start rolling under the tires. Before you know it, you're out of control. And I've been out of control a number of times on that hill. I couldn't even really tell you how many times, probably at least near a dozen times. And a couple of times it was pretty serious. And I was able to barely keep it under control. And when I say under control, it wasn't. It was just able to keep it from rolling over is probably the better way to say it. But anyway, here is the last video. This one's a little longer. I thought you might as well see this too. If you've been paying attention, I've mentioned how we've had so little rain this year that some of the big springs in the surrounding area have gone completely dry. They don't have any water running out of them at all. Notice this little tiny tributary here to our main creek This is actually coming off of Mark Twain Forest, but this still has minnows in it. I can still see a minnow or two swimming around in this. So that's how you can tell if you see a creek that has minnows in it, then that creek doesn't go dry. This doesn't go dry. It's amazing that it doesn't, especially as dry as we've been this year. And there's actually a pretty good amount of water flowing through here. I'm actually impressed. That's impressive. So let's go take a look down here and see how the other springs are doing. This is our main creek that runs down the length of the valley. But one of the contributors to this creek, and you can see it's still going up above here, but one of the main contributors is this spring coming out of this cave. So let's see how it's doing. It looks like it's doing pretty well. You can see old watercress, and the water's flowing out right here. I think you can see that. And it's flowing out right here and here. So we're still doing pretty good on that. Let's go up in power and see where you can actually see the water flowing out there. And it's coming out here too. So that's pretty amazing that spring out of this cave is still doing well. We'll go check another one. But first, let's look here. You can see up the creek there that there's quite a bit of water coming this way. This newest cave, it's only a wet weather spring, but let's go see if there's any water in there at all. In other words, it really only flows whenever there's a lot of rain and stuff, so probably not any water. There is. You can see there's water here. It's not very much, but there's water coming out of this. Let's go back up here. My gosh, there is water here. It's not very much, but that's pretty cool that it's still flowing, especially considering how dry we've been. I mean, that's, if that was the only water on the place, a horse would paw that out and at least be able to drink, So it's better than nothing. It's amazing. Especially when you think about the fact of how dry it's been and how many springs around here have gone dry, and they are huge springs. I mean, way bigger than anything we have on our farm. We're out in the field now, and here's that rock I laid up around this wet weather spring. Again, this is the spring that used to serve that house over there. And, years ago, 150 years ago, this was probably wet all the time, but now it is only wet whenever there's a lot of rain. The water tables have fallen, and so I stacked rock around here, put a gravel bottom in it, because the water comes up through the bottom of this. There also water comes out of that spring over there. It's piped into here through that little hole right there that maybe you can see. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a hole right there. And anyway, that's piped together, and what I'm going to do now is fill that full of rock and gravel and cover it over with dirt and let the water just flow into here, and this will be the only hole that way. So that spring's not doing anything right now, but it will whenever it rains. Here we are. You can see there's still water coming down the creek here, and it's still flowing. You can see the ripples in the water there, perhaps. This is a spring that comes off of our ground up there, but it's still running. You can see how well it's running there. It's running pretty well. This marsh is fed by the very same spring that we just crossed. There are minnows in this. I stopped by here earlier before it froze like that, and there were definitely minnows in there. I'm gonna have to adjust the idle on the Ranger. It's idling a little too slow. Oh well. Well, we're in the creek again, and my guess is the creek's going to be dry above this. Yeah, look at that, bone dry. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that there's a spring up there about 300-400 yards, and it's way bigger than any spring we have on our farm. In other words, it usually is flowing pretty good, and this is usually flowing down through here. But you notice we still had water coming down the creek. Even after we went to the marsh, which was on this side, there was water flowing down this. So let's go down here and see if we can find where that is. And when you know, the trees are gonna make this really easy for me. Gotta make it easy. When you know. Golly, there's trees down everywhere. It's just a mess. Can I get through here? I don't know. Let's see. It ain't easy. Did you ever hear it wasn't easy being me? It's not right now. I can tell you that for sure. This is some tight brush and vines on top of it and thorns and wow. Holy mackerel. Look, you can see it's completely dry. And then all of a sudden, there's water. So what does that tell you? There's a spring. Look at, there's a spring there. I would guess there's one right here too. Let's see. Look at there. There's definitely water moving there, moving very slow, but you can see it's got a flow in that dirt. Very slow, very small, but this one looks like it's pretty big. Look at here. We got quite a bit of water coming out of here and coming out of there and coming out of there. So that's a big spring right there. There's some flat rock laid up here, or maybe not laid there, but there, it almost looks like it was placed there intentionally. Like that's a big flat rock, big flat rock, big flat rock. Wonder, could this have been something at one time? It's obviously an important part of the creek. I'm going to have to do some work right here and just to see what it looks like. Wow. And then, of course, the trees are all across here. We had those storms a year or so ago, and man, lots of trees are down everywhere. But you can see now the creek's healthy from here on down. My guess is there'll be minnows in this section. Crazy. That's really a lot of water coming out, considering how dry it's been. And that's still quite a bit of water there too. I mean, this isn't a ton, but you can see that it's saturated this whole area. Again, more than enough for a horse to get water. So we're thankful that we have water on our farm. It's pretty cool. Well, you probably recognize that we're back at the back pond, and I thought I'd show you the last spring here that's worth showing. And that is this spring here, coming out of this hill, underneath these big oak trees. And it's flowing pretty darn good. In fact, it's probably one of the best springs on the farm. And this spring fed the old house that used to be up on the hill here, or somewhere right in here. We don't even know where it is, but this is one of the places where I found a couple of rings and some pocket knives and 9 axe heads and all kinds of stuff. So this spring is apparently a very good spring. Apparently it never goes dry either. And of course it's feeding this pond. And I need to get back to this and get the rock laid up around this. That's what I want to do. I want to do the same thing I did out in the field. And then I want to get a pipe in here, and so we can drive through here again. I've got this opened up, but it's kind of a mess right now. I need to get back to it. And I will one of these days when I get a minute. But anyway, that's all the springs on the farm. Hope you enjoyed the little tour. That was a lie. That's not all the springs on the farm. There's actually a couple other ones, but the main one that I forgot to show you this morning was the one that feeds the water wheel. There's a spring that comes out of that spring house right there as you come through our gate. And that spring, I guess, is one of the best springs on the farm, really, the one that's feeding the water wheel. So we're blessed. We have a lot of springs, and they're still producing, even in the midst of a pretty heavy drought. It's crazy. Just very lucky. Let's see. Comments. We've got a lot of them today. 122 viewers at the moment. Ronald Todd was the first one in there. Says hi from the West Banks of New Jersey. And Bill Rhodes says, hello, Jerry. How you doing, my friend? Well, I guess I'm doing better now that I've decided what I'm going to do on these panels. And I'm going to get these things done right away and get them glued on there right away. And then I won't have to deal with any other issues in case I drop it again or something. Oh my gosh. Joe Cool USA says, wishing everybody a pleasant afternoon. Dottie's there. Hello, kids. Praying for us. Thank you. Oh, by the way, on terms of prayers, Bert Pashon, who has been on the vlog, he hasn't been on the vlog very much recently, but he was on the vlog quite a bit in the past. Bert is really in bad shape. They're putting in a feeding tube, and they're doing it surgically. So he's not doing well. So put Bert Pashon in your prayers. Bert is the one, if you remember the 1941 Martin guitar that I recently restored, put the new bridge on it, reset the neck. Bert was the owner of that guitar. My friend Bruce Robinson ended up buying the guitar from Bert, and Bruce called me this morning and told me Bert's condition. God bless him. Been praying for him all morning. Bruce Hines says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Hope all are doing well, and Merry Christmas. And Wayne Blitz says, good afternoon. Kim Z from Arizona. Moving on down, trying to look for mainly the comments and the ones usually with the question marks. Gino Hitch says, Jerry and friends, we're having a heat wave. The snow is melting away. How's everything down on the farm? Well, it's definitely warmed back up. Believe it or not, it says 57 on that thing. And it probably is that warm. Yeah, it makes me want to take the metal detector and go out there now. But I tell you what, the last several times I've gone out with the metal detector, I haven't found anything. I think I've found everything there is to find. Doggone it. I was really hoping to find some more Civil War. And I still would like to find a real old coin. I haven't found anything real old. I mean, 1885, I think, is the oldest. I'd like to find something in the 1860s, from the Civil War time frame. Let's see, moving on down. Dottie's wishing everyone a Merry Christmas, a prosperous New Year. Remember the reason for the season. Isn't that the truth? And Dottie says, hit the like button. We need the money on the channel here. Got to buy Sue a present. Ding, 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 ding. That's correct right there. Wade Hampton, good day, Jerry and friends from Glendale, Arizona. I do not humidify. That almost sounds like the O.J. Simpson case. The way you state that there. I do not humidify. Yeah, if it fits, you must commit, or whatever. What was or commuter? So whatever. I don't remember what the slogan was. Bruce Ducker, greetings from warming Central Florida. Dottie says it's warmer in South Carolina today too. And then Kevin says howdy from Cuero, Texas. And Dottie says if you keep breaking that gun stock, it's going to be a glue stock. For sure. Ronald Todd says, well, Jerry, the optimistic side, you're finding out where all the weak spots are. Definitely, for sure. Let's see. Dottie says, what song is that while you were getting the hornet's nest? I really like that. That was that Poet with Wings. Remember I did that one for you quite a while back. A month or two ago. I can't remember. But anyway, that's that. Poet with Wings is what it's called. Used to do that song all the time. Hardly ever do it anymore. GP Old Marine Shop. Jerry, Molly D was the lubricant we used for drilling heat-treated castings, etc. Have you heard of it? Expensive, about $30 a pint. Seems like I've maybe heard somebody mention that before. I wrote it down here, and if I remember, I'm going to look that up and maybe order some. Hugh O'Connor. There's a cheese available in the UK whose trade name is Cracker Barrel. For some reason, I thought of you. Well, I didn't crack the barrel, but I did crack the stock that holds the barrel. I guess there's a tie there. Let's see. Ronald Todd says, the new hill trail sounds like a good and safer idea. However, it looks like a lot of backhoe work to level off a new trail. Definitely is safer. I'll do it I'll probably do 99% of it with just the Bobcat. Basically, once you get it started flat, the Bobcat can do it faster than anything. Everybody loves to use excavators for everything, and they're good. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have a real good one. I would love to have a good one. But I could do that trail, I'm not kidding you when I tell you, 5 times faster than anybody that even a good operator on a backhoe. I could do it 5 times faster than a good operator on a backhoe. Because that Bobcat, it don't slow down, and once you get it started flat, it'll stay flat. You just keep digging flat and just go right down that hill and throw the dirt off to the side and keep going. I don't think it'll take me more than an hour from the distance that you saw me in the video. I think that'll take me about 1 hour with the Bobcat. But I got to get the boss's approval first before I start. Especially since it's going right through her yard that she likes to cut the grass on. Let's see. BH Ringer, good afternoon from Nova Scotia. And back to you. Let's see. Ronald Todd says, a big tree of firewood right close to the wood stove. Yeah, and I'm kind of waiting on that big tree to fall. That's a big tree, trust me. I mean, we're talking pretty close to 4-foot diameter on that sucker. And it's huge. It's really huge. David Tharp, howdy y'all. Missed yesterday's vlog, had to work. Oh, that 4-letter word, but caught it in the replay. Good. David Tharp says, Jerry, your problem with epoxy is you're not mixing the right amount of hide glue with it. Well, then, there you go. That's probably it right there. David Tharp says, I must say I was shocked when the rifle stock broke apart. What a cliff-hanging way to stop a video. I, too, am curious to see how you put it back together. Yeah, well, I have put it back together, and you kind of got a view of how I put it back together the second time today already. If I don't end up banging it around right here now and breaking it again. Let's see. Bill Mumbo says, okay, he's talking to Hugh O'Connor, it looks like. Richard Herbranson, you should make a new T-shirt that says, I'm out of control and I don't give a rip. When you come down that hill, you start saying all kinds of prayers real fast, man. I'm telling you, you see your life pass before your eyes when that big trailer starts to pass you up. It's not pretty. If you don't know, like, I hate to brag on it, but I'm good at knowing which way to steer out of a skid, and it's the same way with when that thing starts pushing you around, you have to know which way to steer to bring it back. And I know that instinctively. I really do. I can do that without even thinking about it. And if it wasn't for that, I'd have lost it a couple times. There ain't no doubt about it. And there's another place on the farm where I would have lost it also. And that one really was bad. It was the worst one yet. But that's why I really have resolved now to only going down. There's one hill that's not so bad, but it's so much further around. But I have resolved it to just always using that trail now. But if I get this new trail cut in there, I won't have to. This would be much easier. Let's see. LD Stoltz says, I'm a little behind, but I love the idea of creating a new path. Would be a cool video. Yep, and of course we'll make a video of it too. Bill Mumbo says, also my grandmother loved Cracker Barrel cheese. I might get some to honor her. That'd be a good thing. Wavy Gravy says, Jerry, if you get thirsty in the middle of the night, let's spring under your... There's a spring under your bed. Yeah, there you go. Gary Cooper, a lot of firewood there. Yeah, there's firewood everywhere on this farm. Trust me. We got 280 acres, and everybody always said there's 80 acres of fields. Well, I don't think there's 80 acres of fields. I think there's more like 60 acres of fields at the most, if there's that much. And the rest is woods, and it's lots of woods. Even though we had it logged a few years back, you really can't hardly tell it because they did selective logging. They didn't just do a clear cut or anything. And you can barely tell they were here. I mean, the trees aren't as big as they were, obviously, but there's still plenty of trees. And, of course, there's a lot of trees that weren't desirable for logs. Those trees are available to be cut also, and they're pretty good size. Let's see, Bill Mumbo, David Tharp. No, he's talking to David. Moving on down here. Dottie says, water, the gift of life. Boy, it is. And on a farm, especially if you've got livestock and stuff, it's everything. Let's see. It scrolled on me. Wavy Gravy says, my Uncle Bob accidentally fell into one of those Yellowstone hot springs. After that, they called him Stu. Yeah, you would if you're still lucky enough to be alive. That's probably what they would call you. Prayers for Bert and his family. Yeah, and his daughter, who takes care of them, she's in the hospital right now on top of everything else, which just really adds a load to them. Boy, it's horrible. So it's just terrible. Ronald Todd says, "Where did everyone go?" I don't know. Hopefully everybody's here. Rod Wintler says, "Jerry, is the creek bed a decent place to metal detect?" Not too much, because they straightened the creek out in the 40s. That creek well, as a matter of fact, it wouldn't surprise me if that spring that's out in the middle of that field that you saw me put the rock around, it wouldn't surprise me if the creek didn't go right through there at one time. But they moved the whole creek over against that kind of like where the cave is, they moved it over against that hillside, and they just follow that hillside all the way down the valley. And the creek is relatively straight compared to the way it used to meander, apparently. And I can tell there's some signs of that meandering in the fields. If you look, you can kind of see little swales and stuff, but it's kind of hard to tell wherever it used to be. But so therefore, because the creek has been messed with, it's not much for metal detecting, unfortunately. Had it been in its original form, more than likely we would be finding all kinds of Civil War stuff around that. Yeah, but not now. Ronald Todd says, "I'm not seeing everyone else's comments." Okay. Well, I'm seeing them. Empress John, "Gluing is not a bad thing. That's what plywood is made from." Yeah, well, that's exactly why I'm going to be putting these on here. And when I put this one on this side here, where this is, I'll have to, of course, cut that back out and, make it all look good. It's going to be some work. And I think I was debating on whether I wanted to 45 these edges down to touch the stock or just chamfer them. And I think I'm just going to chamfer them, because I don't think 45ing them down to where they blend into the stock, I think that's going to look like you tried to blend it in, but you couldn't, and where I think if I just leave it stand up proud and just chamfer the edges, I think it'll look like intentional, which it is intentional, obviously, and it won't look like you're trying to patch something. Anyway, that's my idea. I'm going to stick to that. Let's see. Ronald Todd says he got everyone's comments back. Thanks, YouTube. And then Dottie's praying for Bert and his family. Yeah, poor Bert. Boy, it's when you're near your end of your life, I'm not saying he is like instantly or anything, but he's in his 90s, and you know how that is. And I just wish him well and hope everything goes as well as it can. Wade Hampton, good afternoon, Jerry and friends from Glendale, Arizona. I do not humidify. Let's see here. Did it scroll backwards? David Tharp says, "The first dad joke Adam said, I didn't ask Cain to help me reap the harvest because he's not able." Oh, ho, there you go. Joe 19M3R says, "I left eye cataract surgery tomorrow. Hall pass, please. Keep safe, y'all." Well, God bless you. Hope that goes super good for you. Everybody seems to have good luck with those cataract surgeries, and it's life-changing. So very good. Looking forward to it for you. Eddie says, maybe a roll bar is a future project for the tractor. Well, the one we use mostly does have a roll bar. It's the John Deere. Mike Buck says, how about putting a mandolin bout curl in the design of the decoration of that gun stock, either engraved or panel design. I'll kick it around. I'm not sure how I can make that fit in there anywhere, but I'll keep it in mind. Hugh O'Connor, no, he's talking to Bill Mumbo. Let's see. Moving on down, Dottie says, he's praying for Joe. Let's see. Wade Hampton says he's had both his eyes done with cataracts. It was life-changing. Well, I agree. I think it is. Hugh O'Connor says, could you use diluted time zone rather than CA glue given its effect on you? Not sure what that one means. Let's see. Joe, Wade Hampton talking to Joe. Looks like that's it. I don't see any more comments. So, guys, I'm going to let you go there, and I appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the little videos today. We will see you tomorrow with something else. And, of course, remember, tomorrow evening we're going to have the live Christmas show. I do have quite a few guests. I think Emery's going to be here. I'm fairly sure Yolanda's going to be here. And Cash is going to be here on top of all the regular crew. So it should be really good. Ronald Todd says RSW engraved. Okay. Not sure what that means either exactly. But I am going to put Rosa on one side and 2025 on the other, I think. And on this end stock down here, I'm going to try to do something with a black and white or something. And I'm going to try to inlay an R for Rosa. Of course, you could say it was for Ruger also, because Ruger does that too. They put an R there, but I'm going to do it for Rosa. Let's see. One more came in, it looks like. I think brass inlays would look good on the windsock. Okay. Brass is, I have thought about the brass thing. I have to admit I've thought about that, and possibly on the end down here too, possibly. And Dottie says, yay, Emery. I hope Emery will be here. I'm not 100% sure, but it's sounding like she will. So we'll find that out tomorrow evening. I probably won't know till then. Y'all take care. We will see you tomorrow with something else.